Hi everyone and welcome back to Fit to Lead. My name is Sarah and in today's episode it's going to be a little bit different. I want to take you behind the scenes and share my story from how I went from hairdresser in the UK to moving across the world, stepping out of my comfort zone and eventually creating Fit to Lead. It hasn't been easy, but every challenge has shaped who I am today. A little bit about me. I was born in the UK in a little town called Royston in 1975, so it won't take much to work out how young I am. And I was born into a loving family, my father and my mother, and I had a brother. And growing up was great. We had lots of camping trips, and I remember there was no phones, obviously, back then. I remember going out to play with my friends and knowing that when those street lights went on in the evening, I knew that that was my time that I needed to be home. So that's just how we rolled when it was in my era. How things have changed since then. But I was in a close-knit family, lots of aunties, uncles, grandparents, very loved. And then when I got to the age of 13, unfortunately, my parents separated, which was really tough at that age, being a teenager, not knowing what's going on and your hormones everywhere. And that kind of threw me off a little bit, but I found my way and continued on, and I ended up moving out of home at the age of 16, so I was so young. But that's where I met my husband, Neil. We've been together for over 30 years now. We've been married 27 years, so a very long time, and he is my absolute world, and I don't know what I would do without him in my life. So we have built a beautiful, beautiful family. I have 3 children, 1 son and 2 daughters, who are now in their 20s. Makes me feel very old. And yeah, back in the UK, we both actually had our own business. To start with, before I had my business, I actually worked in someone's business as a hairdresser. So I was a hairdresser for 20 years. So from the age of 15, I used to wash hair and sweep the floors and make the tea and coffee. So that's where I started, from the bottom, and I worked my way up for 20 years, just training really, really hard to be a stylist, and which I went to college, followed my passion, and the same as my husband. He was in a trade, and he did exactly the same as me. So we're both busy working, following our passions. Then we both ended up with our own businesses in the UK, and I had a hairdresser's for the last few years before I moved over to Australia. So I was very busy when my children were super young. If it wasn't for my mum, I don't know what I would have done. And my mother-in-law and all my surrounding family were very supportive and helped us a lot. But I was a businesswoman back then at the age of 25. So I continued working, and then things got a little bit tough in the UK. My husband's business had gone through a little bit of a tough time, and there was an opportunity for us to move to Australia. But it wasn't an easy decision, but a good decision in the end. Believe it or not, we did flip a coin. We had a choice between France or Australia, and we literally based our decision on a flip of a coin. Can you believe that? All those years ago. And it landed on tails, which was obviously Australia. So my husband took the job over here in Melbourne. Having never, ever visited Australia in my life, never thought in a million years would I be moving away from my mum and all my support network, let alone with a 5-year-old, 8-year-old and 11-year-old. But we did. We moved everything over, including the dog, and we came over to Melbourne in 2011. It was the hardest decision that I've ever made in my life. I had absolutely no idea what we were stepping into, what we were doing. We come over here, we had literally nothing at all. We had hardly any money because we tried selling everything that we could before we left, but we only had really enough money to buy ourselves a little car, like a second-hand car. We had no keys to nothing. We had no house. We had nothing. And we were just relying on being sponsored and coming over. We came over and it was just such a bizarre. I remember sitting on the plane and Neil said to me, "We don't own anything. Everything, well, we do own, but everything that we own is bobbing up and down in the sea for 6 weeks," because we had shipped, obviously, on the ship. But we don't own anything. We've got no car, no home, no keys for anything. And it was such a bizarre feeling, not knowing what was going to happen and how our future was going to pan out. I had 3 young children and I was really scared. I was absolutely petrified. I didn't have any support. I didn't know anyone here in Australia, no one at all. So it was a really, really tough time. But together, as a family, we did it. And we moved here and my husband started work, which was really, really tough because I didn't have any friends, didn't know anybody. The kids we'd enrolled them in a school and obviously they'd gone off to school. And I thought, I'm not going to work for the first year or 2 because I want to settle the family and sort out. But that soon changed because I couldn't not go out and meet people. I'm such a people person and I wanted to get out and meet new people. And I was lonely. I think I'd packed my suitcase to go home. Must be at least twice a week, every week for the first 3 years. Honestly, it took me that long to be able to settle down and feel half like I belong somewhere, which is a really weird feeling to not feel that you belong anywhere, that you don't belong in the UK and you don't belong in Australia. It's just a really strange feeling. But I pushed through and I did then decide that I was going to go into hairdressing because what I decided before I left the UK was once I sell my salon, I'm not going to continue on with hairdressing. I'm actually going to put myself out there and try something different because I'd been doing it for over 20 years and thought, we're moving countries, let's change everything. But I ended up going into a salon, which was the best thing I ever did because I met the most amazing friends to this day that have been so supportive and really helped me a lot in the first few years I was here. So I did hairdressing for a couple of years and then I thought, I don't know, I want to learn something new. I'm always not always looking for new ideas, but I just wanted to grow. I knew that I was going to be a different person living here than what I was in the UK because I was so dependent on help from family and that over there. So I decided to go into fitness and I went back to studying and went back to college and did my Cert 3 and 4 in personal training, which again is where I met another bunch of amazing people in my life. And I passed all my exams and become a personal trainer. And I flitted around from a few different jobs and gyms and bits and pieces, but I knew that this was only ever a stopgap. It was just something new to learn, and it wasn't something that I was probably going to stay in full time because it's a really hard job to actually do. And I try to motivate people that struggle to be motivated at the time, and I was still quite young. And I just thought, I don't even know if I have the tools to do all of this. But I continued on, and I ended up actually, during COVID times, I had my own business at home, and I used to work out over the internet. I used to take sessions with my clients and built up a lovely little group of ladies that I did transformations and helped grow and train, which was, again, absolutely amazing. During this time, I've never really exercised too much myself back in the UK because I was always so busy and it was never at the forefront of my mind. But since moving to Australia, it just really opened up here that there was so many opportunities to go out, meet people, do different things. And I found some really great trainers. I've had two really, really good trainers in my time, and they've really helped me move forward and find myself as a person. I never ever thought in a million years would I stand on a stage and do a fitness competition. That just was not something that I was wanting to do because, first of all, I was really conscious of my body. I've had 3 children and 3 cesareans, and I was just always really conscious. And I know we all love our bodies, and you should love your bodies, but our mind tells us other things when we stand there looking in the mirror. We do it to ourselves every time. So I thought, I feel really uncomfortable standing on a stage in a bikini. This is just going to put me completely out of my comfort zone. But somehow, with the courage and joining these sessions and being with the trainers that were really encouraging, and being in a group with people that was also like-minded and enjoyed exercise, just gives you such a great fire burning in your stomach to think, you know what, I could actually do this if I put my mind to it. I've just got to cancel out all of the noise. So anyway, I actually competed 3 times. And the first time was a bikini, and I had no idea what I was doing, absolutely no idea what I was doing, but I got up there and I did it, and I was so proud of myself that I did it. At the time, I felt very uncomfortable and very awkward, but afterwards I felt amazing, and that feeling of feeling amazing is what keeps me going. So I did that, and then I went on to do 2 more, and I did figure for both of those. And yeah, that stage of my life was amazing and just really made me feel that I was beautiful and my body is beautiful. And I wasn't standing up there to do it because I was wanting to show off in a bikini. I did this because I wanted to prove to myself that I could be out there, put myself out there, put myself in an uncomfortable situation and push through. And they're just all part of making me grow as a person. So from there, I continued on, met lots of people, amazing, and then I thought, I've also got another little fear which will surprise quite a few people, what I'm just about to say. Some people that know me know this, but people that don't truly know me are just about to find out that I was petrified, absolutely petrified of flying. Years ago, not now, but years ago I was petrified, and I decided that I was going to put myself in an uncomfortable position, and I'm going to go and work at an airline. So my first airline I worked at, not the one I'm currently at, the one I worked at before, I joined, and I'm thinking, I am not sure how this is going to go for me. But I did it, and I did 6 weeks of training, and I started flying and realised that I had a real passion. And educating myself, understanding the background from flying and speaking to captains and first officers and talking about all the technical side of things actually made me realise, why am I even worried about flying? Because I didn't understand about it. And I think that's why I'm only in my own mind telling myself I'm worried, purely because I don't understand about flying. So going out there, finding out information, doing all the training, and then starting to fly, I just absolutely found this passion in the flying for me, and it was just the best ever. And obviously we had COVID and everything else, and unfortunately it closed all the airline aviation down because we were all trapped in our houses at this time. But I did still fly on occasions. And then I decided I want more, I need to grow, I want to learn more about aviation, and I want to push through. I just don't want to be cabin crew. I want to be able to go further and teach people and be able to be more manager, because that's my manager in me. After having my own business as well, you kind of have that little bit of a passion, fire burning for it. I then moved airlines to the one that I'm currently at now, and I've gone from the bottom again, from cabin crew, and then after being there for 9 months, I got cabin manager, which I absolutely love, and I love to inspire the crew, love to encourage them to be the best version of themselves and be able to lead themselves forward and just don't be afraid of any worries that you have moving forward, and push yourself forward and put yourself in uncomfortable situations, because you really grow in those situations. When you're uncomfortable, that's when you grow the most. So I've been cabin manager for a few years now. A few years. And then I was successful in a role as a team leader. So this means that I get to investigate further into aviation and work underneath the managers and learn the other side of aviation on the ground as well as flying. So I actually get to do both. I get to fly and I get to be in the office environment, and I couldn't be happier. I absolutely love where I am at the moment. And I have been here for 14 years in Australia, and I have grown so much as a person in those 14 years because I have been uncomfortable. I have put myself in situations where I feel so uncomfortable. I mean, I haven't told you about any of the things that have gone wrong in my life, and believe me, there's been a few hurdles and I haven't got everything right. But I wanted to share my story with you because I believe that everything I've done connects to self-leadership, energy and mindset, and helping busy professionals and crew feel strong and organised and feel in control of their own lives. This is where Fit to Lead has been born from, my own personal story. And I really believe that I can help inspire and help people to show up for themselves and be the best version of them. And that's anything from ideas of food prep, from fatiguing, from structure, consistency, everything that I've done in my time that's worked for me and that hasn't worked for me. And the things that have worked for me, I want to share with you all so you can have them in your life and you have the tools to be able to help you move forward and be the best version of yourself. So I feel like I've got so much to give, and we're going to be talking about so many different things each week. In my next release, I will be giving a free guide to some ideas of mine that will help set you up for meal prepping, mindset, energy levels, exercise. So I have the free guide that will be coming in my next episode. But I want to thank you so much for listening to my story. It's a big part of who I am and why I do what I do. If my story has resonated with you at all, I'd love to hear from you. To come and say hi on my Instagram at @FitToLead. Or share this episode with someone who might need a little motivation today. Next week, we'll get back to practical tips, simple fitness routines and mindset strategies to help you lead yourself first, no matter how busy you are. Once again, I'd like to thank you for joining me today. And thanks for having me here. Again, this is completely out of my comfort zone, and listening to my own voice and getting feedback from my friends and family, who are my biggest fans, is great. I love the feedback, and I just love the fact that you're all listening, and the feedback would be great. So I would really appreciate that. But once again, thank you for joining me, and I will see you in episode 5. And for now, thank you and take care, everybody.